From starring in one of the most popular video game adaptations to being the next Scream Queen of the Year, Josh Hutcherson has bit off more than he can chew with his new role. Word on the street is that Josh will take on the lead role in the live-action Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which is a video game made popular because of gaming YouTubers like PewDiePie and Markiplier. Unfortunately, you won't see them in a box on the upper left of the screen to catch their reactions. Instead, this movie will explore the story of the horror game filled with jump scares to a greater extent. A troubled security guard, played by Hutcherson, is selected to work at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, which is where all the animatronic animals come to life at night. A teaser was released by Universal Studios on May 17, 2023, where people lost their minds at seeing Josh as the hired security guard. To be honest, a lot of us forgot that this movie was even happening in the first place. If you've played the games, then you'd know who William Afton is. This mysterious man will be played by none other than slasher horror and Scooby-Doo icon Matthew Lillard. With two actors like that in a horror movie, it makes this a project worth looking forward to. Mike Schmidt, the security guard in the movie, has no idea what's coming for him. Apparently, neither does Hutcherson. Let's go back to his days as Peeta Mellark. The 30-year-old actor found the young adult franchise to be a blast when filming with his co-stars Jennifer Lawrence and Liam Hemsworth. According to him, all they did was crack jokes and laugh on set, ending their days surprised that they got any work done. Hutcherson also didn't expect how much fans adored these movies, although some would say the quality dropped after catching fire. But with the upcoming prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the hype is back. Fans on Twitter decided to look back at iconic moments from the original films to point out how good they were. This includes the odd yet hilarious scene where Peeta, who's District 12's local baker, was able to flawlessly blend himself into the ground with makeup. The quadrilogy was a fantastic run, that's for sure. Even though Hutcherson had the time of his life working on these movies, the aftermath is what really changed his career. When talking to Entertainment Weekly in 2020, he looked back at his time on set with his friends and recalled that the fame that came after the franchise's conclusion felt like a slap in the face. That was when all eyes were on him. In the actor's words, it wasn't the most appetizing thing a person would want. If he were to ever do something like a massive franchise again, he'd have to think twice before making the decision. He described his experience as a double-edged sword, where the opportunities for other roles are always a good thing, but it comes at the cost of your livelihood. Does this mean Josh regrets being a part of the Hunger Games? The franchise was a huge deal for the actor, so he's probably very grateful for it.
Peeta was an amazing character. I fell in love with him right away, and what's crazy to me is I've never seen a character that was so much of who I am as a person.
At the same time, considering how big of a deal the movies had become, I don't think Hutcherson is ready for anything like that anytime soon. You wouldn't believe what fame does to a person, since it's not just smiles and cameras for everyone. In fact, the actor admitted, it's hard for anybody to digest, especially being a kid from Kentucky. This turned out to be a wake-up call for him to realize the kind of career he really wanted to pursue. Because of this, Josh realized that what he really wanted to do was nothing. You see, his filmography after the franchise includes a huge gap, with a major role in the Hulu series Future Man filling in the blank. In 2017, he portrayed Philip Haldeman as Denny, the young neighbor from The Room, in the biographical comedy drama called The Disaster Artist. His goofy haircut aside, this was a step up from his dry spell in the late 2010s. Hutcherson starred alongside names like James and Dave Franco. He was also in the music video of Middle by DJ Snake and Bipolar Sunshine in 2016, which gave everyone the impression that this guy's career is done for. Apart from mainstream films, he was in the 2019 indie crime thriller Burn and a bunch of other projects that you've probably never heard of. While most of these weren't a hit among the audience, this is exactly what Hutcherson needed after the bright and heavy spotlight on him from The Hunger Games, which concluded in 2015. Most actors in Hollywood have done this sort of thing before, like Robert Pattinson, who switched to indie A24 films after all the fame and drama that Harry Potter and The Goblet of Fire and the Twilight Saga brought him. Now look at the guy. He's the Batman. The kids are all right. Star was most famous for his roles when he was younger. Bridge to Terabithia is the one that traumatized us the most. Seriously, they did not have to make us go through all those emotions when we were just pre-teens. Everyone was wondering where he was after all these years, and now he's back with a bang with this new adaptation. So, how does this relate to Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, I don't think Josh understands how big this story can get. Did you know there are 9 different games that involve Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria? The story is more than just a bunch of robot animals terrorizing a poor night guard. You'd be surprised to know how many awesome plot twists there are along the way. But does Josh know all of this? Or did he just see a fun horror film to try out and add to his experience for an even bigger role in the future? I gave Pattinson as an example earlier, and this could all be leading back to Hutcherson's comeback until he's cast for a massive film. Wasn't Quentin Tarantino looking for a male in his 30s to lead the last movie he'll be directing before his retirement? I'm not jumping to conclusions, but last I checked, Josh is 30 years old, so never say never. Let's just hope the fame he'll be getting from Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't discourage him like last time. How do I know that this is going to be a huge release in 2023? For starters, the teaser on YouTube has around 19 million views already. In October 2022, when Emma Tammy was announced as the film's director, Blumhouse head Jason Blum made a statement saying, "Five Nights at Freddy's is more consistently asked about than any other film I've ever worked on." I hope Josh heard that, because he was inactive for half a decade to recover from franchises and fame. Imagine coming back to get the same treatment. It's kind of already happening because fans are praising the return of their king. Everyone is so glad that Josh is back that they are crowning him the new Scream Queen of the Year. What's that, you ask? Well, according to Wikipedia, a Scream Queen is basically an actress who's prominent and influential in horror films, either through a notable appearance or recurring roles. But wait, wouldn't that make Hutcherson a Scream King? Well, it's the internet, and you know how it is with calling everyone a queen. Fans of the genre, especially slasher ones, call Matthew Lillard one too, even though he was in the first Scream movie and he's 53 years old. Internet lingo isn't age limited, and attention like this only becomes higher after a film's release. You can probably imagine all the fan coms and edits that are on their way. It's been so long since there's been new material about everyone's favorite baker. With everything else going on, Josh is receiving praise, as everyone is absolutely delighted to see him back in a major role. After all, a lot of us grew up with the actor with films like Zathura, RV, and Journey to the Center of the Earth where he was just a kid, and of course The Hunger Games when he was a young adult. Seeing him shift from genre to genre and act in horror movies in his prime is something everyone would love to witness. Plus, slashers have never been more popular. We've got X, Pearl, Scream, and so much more these days. You want to know the best part? They're all setting up their own universes with a bunch of sequels. Five Nights at Freddy's will likely do the same. I, for one, just hope Josh knows what he's signing up for. So, from being the next Scream Queen of the Year to starring in one of the most popular video game adaptations, this was why Josh Hutcherson has bitten off more than he can chew.